Hello and welcome to my show, Shuvra Deb With You, with me, your host, Shuvra Deb. In this show, I will be discussing mental health with the aim of raising mental health awareness in our community and in society as a whole. The genesis of the show is my own pivotal life-changing experience of being in a Category 5 hurricane back in 2017. That experience led me to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. I am hosting this show in order to let you know that you are not alone if something life-changing has happened to you from which you are struggling to heal. Shuvra Deb With You focuses on a range of topics relevant to mental health and to raising awareness of issues surrounding mental health. Hello everyone and welcome back to Shuvra Deb With You, where I help you to prioritise and look after your mental health and that of those you love and care about. One of the areas in which we can all help to maintain our mental health is by way of education. Now, I've spoken about rumination and negative mind chatter a lot on my previous shows. I take the view that by focusing our minds on improving ourselves and our level of education, it can be a way of focusing somewhere other than any negative internal reel or mind chatter that we may be feeling. Now, that's not to say that we should suppress our emotions, not at all. But certainly by educating ourselves, we can take some of the pressure off of ourselves, we can take away some of the inward focus, and we could do something positive looking outward. So, with that in mind, I am joined by my special guest, Myles from Inspire Cayman. Welcome, Michael. It's so good to have you here.
It's always phenomenal to be part of programs like this, so thanks for inviting me.
Not at all. Thank you for coming. Let's start with your background. If you could tell us a bit about yourself, about your career, and what you now do in higher education.
I'm a social worker. I've been a social worker for 30 years. My background and my training is in social work. I got my education through playing football, soccer. I got a 4-year football scholarship and went to Lindsay Wilson College. And the goal for me has always been to give back, and that's why I chose social work. It gives me an opportunity pretty much in any industry to always give back and give a lot of myself. And here I am. That's why I'm now in tertiary education. Or continuing education and continuing professional development, and it's been a blessing.
That's fantastic. How long were you a social worker?
I stayed at social services for a little under 2 years, and then I transitioned into the children's homes. So I was in foster care for probably about 4.5 years, and that was an eye-opener for me because coming back as a young social worker, working at the time it was the Department of Social Services. Today it's the Department of Children and Family Services, and it's now split into needs assessment unit. When I was a social worker, I also did welfare and I also did investigations. But going into the children's homes was a major eye-opener because what it taught me was that the kids should not get to the point where they're committing offenses, where they are on the streets, where they're in prostitution, where they're causing problems for themselves, and certainly for others, whether they're in school or out of school. You know, there was a lot of red flags of what I saw that we could do different as a country. And so it gave me sort of the fuel to start to go on this quest of information, education, and to start to look at preventative programs. And, you know, like I said, 30 years later, it's been a phenomenal journey. I mean, I've enjoyed it immensely.
Wow. So your experiences in social work and seeing the social problems that exist, would you say that that's what inspired you to start Inspire Cayman?
It is, and then some. I lived in the U.S. for many years, in Kentucky to be specifically. My children were there, so I moved there with them to be closer to them. And I think one of the major areas that I was always conflicted about is our country have produced an enormous amount of reports. We love paying consultants a lot of money. And over the last 20 years, we've produced probably 15 to 20 major reports on crime prevention, crime intervention, why youth are kind of going off the rails and so forth. The sad part about the Shuvra is that a lot of those reports are shelved. We don't look at those reports, or we delay bringing those reports to finalization because the press will somewhere down the line FOI it and find out that we haven't really done anything when we've paid some consultant another $1 million and change. It fueled me because in all of those reports, it gave loads of different information on identifying at risk, providing the necessary programming or interventions or preventative programs. And these are all cost-effective things. We didn't do anything. And I got tired of seeing Caymanian young men, in particular Caymanian young men, end up in a prison system or dead. I got tired of going to funerals or reading about young men that I dealt with or worked with from the time they were 8 or 9 years old. So that was one of the most, I guess, troubling things that kind of hampered me. I was, had a phenomenal job in Kentucky. I was working in corporate America. I was making good money. My family was doing great. But I just felt that, that Cayman is always home for me, and I'm passionate about this country. And all of my family is also here. I want to continue to make this safe for my family, and that's why, I've chosen, to come back and try to fill that gap in between a youngster getting out of school either they're going on to the world of work or they're going on to maybe university or college or something else. There's no sort of attention paid between that 16 and a half and that 20 years old. And that's where we're now losing a lot of kids, whether they are drinking heavily or they're unemployed or they're getting pregnant or something. I wanted to fill that void.
Michael, that's so inspiring. Gosh, that truly is beautiful because, 2 points arise from that. So the fact that all these reports have been compiled and no doubt probably will continue to be compiled. I don't think that Cayman is the only place in which this happens. Anywhere there's a political system, which is basically pretty much everywhere in the world, unless you're, living off nature without a government to sort of rule you. I think that happens. There'll be some sort of big event, there'll be some discovery of something that's been a heinous crime of some description against children, against a group of people. A report will be compiled, lots of findings will be made, lots of money will be spent, and then nothing's done about it, or very little is done about it to really resolve the problem. So that's fantastic that you've taken on this mantle and you're really doing something for the country. So, and also what you said about the gap between 16 and 20. So of course, the route that I took is I did my A-levels and then I went off to university, but that's just one option.
Yes.
And it's an option that's actually not available to the vast majority of the world because it costs a lot of money.
80%
It costs so much more money than it did when I did it 22 years ago. So with all of that, what specifically do you do at Inspire Cayman to fill that gap?
I created Inspire to transform people's lives. When I started off 4.5 years ago, it was really to provide vocational training programs for young people who wanted to get into automotive, construction, paddy. We mainly focused on that. After speaking to over 200 employers, I recognized that skills wasn't the issue of our country because most employers can actually provide those training for those. A construction firm can provide apprenticeships where young people could come in and learn how to lay blocks, be a plumbing apprentice or electrician, whatever they want to be. Organizations can provide that sort
of
training.
They can learn on the job with introductory training.
Correct.
Yeah.
The more organizations that I spoke to, and I thought it was just a few, when I spoke to big construction organizations, they went off on another tangent. They were like, okay, it's great that you want to do this stuff, but are you going to teach them how to actually show up for work? So I started
life
to pause.
Skills. Life skills.
I paused. I'm like, okay, are you going to teach them how to dress appropriately? Are you going to teach them that when they're ill, their grandmother shouldn't call in or their mother shouldn't call in for them? Are you going to teach them that when they actually show up, they actually have to contribute value to our organization? So I'm like, maybe it's just these organizations, right? These are monstrosities of construction firms. So I started speaking to mom and pop small shops. Same thing. Then I went across industries.
Wow.
In the last 5 years, I've met with over 200 employers. I spoke to everybody who would speak with me. And now what we do is transformation. I no longer just want to teach the skills. We do that as well, but we also teach people how to live better, right? I want young Caymanians or Caymanians in general that when they come into us, it's about creating a spark for themselves. It's about me providing them information. My team and I provide them with information.
Yeah.
And they now actually have to take that information and create a spark. And I've never been wrong about this. 8 out of 10 people that come into us that finish the program, and all I need them to do is move 2 inches and see the light. Because once, I don't even need them to walk towards the light because they will do it themselves. I just need them to move 2 inches to the left or right and see that light, and that spark goes off, and they want more. They're thirsty for more. I've had folks come into me 5 years unemployed. Sorry, I can't get a job. So can you give me a job? I don't give people jobs. I'm a training center. But what we do is inspire. We help people transform. And that is the part that I am after. I'm chasing that, right? I'm interested in giving people skills. Trust me, it's phenomenal when I can take a youngster from not knowing anything about construction to building a damn house or fixing a car. But that doesn't work for me anymore because everybody can do that. I'm more interested in, can I teach him how to be a man? Or can I ensure that he's a better father, a better husband, a better boyfriend, a better citizen? I'm more interested in not. That's what I am after, and that's what I have my team chasing, and we do everything we possibly can. So I speak real life. This is not, I let young people understand, this is not high school. This is not John Gray or prep or Catholic. I'm in your face. I'm telling you what people want from you. And if you don't want to do that, it's time to leave the center because you're not there to hang out. You're there to add value. And I'm going to get you to add value or you're not going to be at the center, right? That's what it is for us. So they have to dress appropriately when they come to me. And if they don't, I help them get clothes. But I take away all of the crap excuses. Well, sir, I can't get here. Okay, well, here's $2 to catch the bus. Now, if you simply just don't want to do it, I can't fix that. What I can fix is removing some of the barriers that you can get to me, get to learning, and so forth. If you need the one-on-one, I'll help you do that. But if you decide that you don't want to learn, I can't fix that, right? I can show you what the top of the mountain is. This is not money that I help, that I have kids chase after because everybody has money. But what if we can inspire someone to just be a better human being?
Gosh.
Fixes everything else in their life.
Fixes the world. It
Absolutely,
fixes the world.
man.
We were just talking about this. I was a guest on a show just now this morning. Robert Lynch's The Wrecking Trade, also on Bobo FM. And one of the things we discussed was how nobody teaches us conflict resolution.
Nope.
Nobody at school at a very basic level will teach us how to communicate with another human being. And unless we're seeing that demonstrated to us in a household where both caregivers, because we're assuming there's two caregivers, are in an emotionally mature situation where they are able to, by acting, by doing, show the offspring, the children for whom they care, they don't have to be biological offspring, unless we are shown or taught, then we're just not going to know as humans. So, and I've wondered who is out there teaching these skills, and here you are teaching these skills. So I've seen on your website that you do run the courses, the PADI, plumbing, electrician.
We do.
What kind of courses do you do to teach the life skills part that you've
So
just
we have
spoken
a
about?
course called Tools for Success. And Tools for Success is everything of what you've just said. We teach communication skills. We teach conflict resolution. We teach about teamwork. We teach about, it's not just about writing a resume, because anybody can do that part. What I also teach is how do you actually get along with a team? How do you get along? Like, how do you add value to an organization? How do you provide feedback? And how do you accept feedback? How do you accept criticism? 90% of the organizations that I speak with, one of the number one things that they consistently battle with is young people can't take feedback. The moment that they provide feedback is, well, you just don't like me because I'm Caymanian.
Right. So they just get defensive
absolutely.
and rather than taking it as positive
Precisely.
critique or whatever.
Absolutely. We need to help them through that period, right? It's about growth now, right? So we are now providing that information to them, and we're teaching them how to respond and how I no longer want a young person to feel that they're going into an interview and the interviewer or the HR person is the one that asks all the questions. No, you now need to research the company.
Of course.
Why do you want to work for that company?
Job interview works both ways.
Precisely. I have kids coming into me all the time. Sir, I want to work at CUC. Why? Because it's a big company. Is that the only reason? So you've never been on their website to see all the phenomenal things that this organization offers, right? Do the research.
Yeah, all the training, the programs, the packages. It's all
Absolutely.
there, yeah.
Today, everyone's chasing the almighty dollar. But no one wants.
No one's chasing self-improvement, but to get to the almighty dollar, you need the
They
self-improvement.
don't. And everybody wants to live. There's a large majority of young people who've been taught that as long as I'm with a company years upon years, I should automatically be given a raise. And I'm constantly saying, well, what are you offering? What are you offering the organization? No one wants to talk about the value. Everyone wants to, a lot of my colleagues and so forth, when they're talking to me, it's all about, well, I'm Caymanian. Well, that don't work for us anymore, right? I'm 49 years old. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, when I was growing up, Cayman was something. Today, it's a competitive market.
Yeah, it's much more diversified. Now, what was it the census said, over 150 or 170 nationalities?
You are right. So why aren't we teaching our children to now compete, right? We now have to start to teach compete, and that's what I am doing. I am teaching you to compete. This is not about being Caymanian anymore. This is about being a human being, and you have to contribute now. You cannot just walk into an organization and say, well, I'm Cayman, please, you don't need to hire me because work said that you need to hire me. No one is doing that anymore. Not with 30,000 plus work permits in this country. We now have to start to teach our kids to compete, and life skills is the door for us.
Yeah, it's what it opens up, as you say, and it lights that spark, and then it opens up the way to the light.
Shuvra, if I do anything, and I tell young people all the time, we have walked 500 young people. Many of them are Caymanians, 80% of them are Caymanians through our program. It never fails me. Amazing. Every time they take the program seriously, a job is the byproduct of the transformation
That's
you're going to
fantastic.
get.
So a 100% record, as long as it's taken seriously and the work's
As long
put
as they
in.
take it seriously.
Yeah.
As long as they come on time and they listen to what we impart and they do their best. I have always preached, failure is part of the process.
Oh my gosh, I have
Part
had
of the
this
process.
conversation so many times in the
Right?
last few weeks.
So let's stop letting them be afraid of failure,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not your father or your mother, so I'm going to be harder on you. Not because I don't like you, because I love you. It's because I see a different future for you.
Yeah.
Whereas parents want to protect their kids,
Yeah.
all right? I want kids to feel that level of pain, because if you want progress, pain has to be in your vocabulary. That's just what it is, right? I've run from it for many years as a kid. You asked me one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Yes, other than ensuring that young Caymanians, that Caymanians in general have a pathway and I can help them paint that. I have a mother who I saw work 3 jobs, work hard, and showed me what hard work is and was, and still continues at 60 plus years old to work hard with always a smile on her face and never complains about anything. That's what I learned from. And then she introduced me to a group of men who became my mentors, who became my fathers. As a single mom, she single-handedly marshaled me through college. I never had any sort of glimmer that I was going to college, because our people, my family, didn't go to college. We didn't have a tradition of going to college. I wasn't a great student. I was a good football player, but I wasn't a great student, and I played football 7 days a week. So she used football to help me understand that, like life, I need to have something else. And she introduced me to a lot of phenomenal men who became my surrogate fathers. And that's why I do this. It's a tradition for me now. I am passing
on the baton.
That is all I am doing for our country, right? And it is a thankless job. But you know what? I sleep easier at night, and my 4 daughters are benefiting from it. Because I'm doing my part and then some, because those men sacrificed for me. They never asked me for a dime. I've walked on shoulders of giants, Shuvra, and that's why I do this, right? To me, it's more, this is not a job, this is a mission. I am on a mission to ensure that every Caymanian understands that if you can now become excellent, phenomenal, extraordinary, because good is no longer cutting it for employers, right? Everybody is good. Good is now the new average, right? And that's what a lot of us don't understand. When someone tells you that you're good, they're telling you that you're average. You're just average. I want excellent. I want extraordinary, because that's what I bring to the table, right? I bring all of that to the table. I bring every emotion, every pain that I have felt, and I'm giving you all of that because I want more from you, right? That's why I do this. And I see the spark. And it normally happens within the first 3 or 4 weeks. I'm telling you, in that 12-week program, I wait for it. Because information is power now. But now I get them to use the information. They don't just, see, everyone thinks that there's information. I just want information because the information is power. No, action in information is power. Right? We now need to action it. And that's what I'm getting them to understand. You have to action the information, because just holding on to a lot of information doesn't give you anything. It doesn't render anything.
You say it's a thankless task, but I just see the energy that's just emanating from you right now. You're so buzzed by what you do, just talking about it.
It is, I'm telling you, it's an amazing feat. I get a thrill from seeing people, because I know what that's like. I know how it feels. I know when I got the spark. When I know when Gillis Seymour talked to me, I felt it throughout my bones. I know when Winston Chung talked to me, or Everton Edwards. I can tell you about phenomenal men that have graced and blessed my life, that I felt the spark. I felt every bit of the energy. And that's what I try to give. It's that vibe. I want them to have a clear understanding that this is not about construction. My organization is not about paddy or teaching them sailing. That's a byproduct of what we do. What I am doing is more motivational, more inspirational, more aspirational. I want you to be a better person, a better man, a better dad, a better this or better that. But in all, if you become a better citizen, our country benefits. Our country benefits, our
the world
household
benefits.
That's it. That's what I am after. That's what I'm chasing. People ask me about, well, it's really hard work. I'm doing this stuff. It's not hard work, right? This stuff is easy for me, right? It's imparting the information that was told to me. The information is in mine. I'm passing it on, right? For those who accept it, they're going to do well. And I know those who are accepting it. For some of those, it's just going to take them longer. And that's okay. But just understand, you cannot be average and expect excellent in return. Right?
Yeah.
When you are average, you get average. That's what it is. I am not a miracle worker. I was telling a young man today, I am not going to come in to inspire and spray some pixie dust on you, and all of a sudden you are going to just have this $80,000 job. What you get in is what you get out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we are teaching at this point. But 99% of it, Shuvra, I will say to you, it's about transformation. It's about those soft skills that people often overlook.
That people often ignore, they overlook, because, applying for jobs, as I did decades ago, and I've applied for jobs since, but it's all about, what qualifications do you have and what experience do you have? And of course that's important. But, I've equally sat on interview panels, and on paper we've had some people who look fantastic. They look like unicorns, in fact. And we're so excited as the panel. This person's coming. Oh, look, it's this person next.
Wow.
Look at this CV. The CV is fantastic. The person comes in and then they have no communication skills, or they're rude to other people, or just something that is completely unexpected and doesn't have to be there. If only somebody had just shown them. Yeah.
I when you reached out to me, I told you I was going to San Diego. I went. My wife invited me. She's an HR director at PwC, and she invited me to join her at the Work Human Conference. It was phenomenal. 2,000 HR managers, hiring managers, CEOs, and so forth. Almost 70 plus guest speakers and so forth. Loads of different breakout rooms. It was a phenomenal place to be.
Yeah.
It was buzzing, and the number one things of what a lot of people are focused on right now is culture.
Yeah.
How to create a culture that people want to stay. How to create a culture that people want to come in and learn and come in and contribute to some level of speciality. Well, that's the team that I'm building at Inspire.
Yeah.
All of my people are now on board. I want everybody understanding this is not a job. This is a calling now for us, right? And people that walk through the door, what I'm seeing is the hopelessness, and we need to change that. So that's what we're up against. So if anybody think that this is just coming in and you're getting a paycheck, you're not going to last long here, because this is about transforming people's lives, and people want to be inspired.
Yeah.
We have to be able to change a culture within our country, and we need more and more people to get this down. In the end, you get in what you get out of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm chasing every single day.
So Tools for Success is a 12-week program, you said? So after that 12-week program, is that when people start to do the other qualifications, for example?
No, they're doing it. They're doing it in tandem. So they could be doing 3 days a week. They're doing Tools for Success 2 days a week. We could have people doing construction, people doing diving, people on a boat, people doing online training. We have about 4,000 online training courses. We have courses in everything.
Amazing.
From finance to bookkeeping to entrepreneurship to business to whatever you need. COVID has opened a space for me. It has slowed me down
because of all the online potential.
Oh my
now.
God,
Yes.
man. We've transitioned. People are now
the
online.
world's changing. Yeah,
Absolutely. There's not a lot. I have more people online now that I have actually coming in to our center,
right?
Because people want the flexibility. They want to be able to do a course whenever they want. So I've shifted, I've pivoted, and I've had to. It's either you pivot or you die.
Yes.
And that's when we came out of COVID, we expanded.
That's amazing. That's a great story. I love these success stories.
We doubled in size, right? The biggest challenges that we have right now, Shuvra, is funding. And it's the one thing that I'm consistently talking to the government about. When I started Inspire 5 years ago, people told me Caymanians didn't want training. Young Caymanians aren't going to want construction. I have 60 people on the waiting list waiting for scholarships.
Amazing.
And we've always had that, right? And I've said to the government, multiple successive governments, we can change the way that we actually put our people back into the workforce. They have to be trained. They don't have to go in entry level. And if they go in as an entry level, we now can actually help them get up into middle management. We are only talking about, well, Cayman just need a job. Well, Cayman is, when I was growing up, eggs were $1 or less for a dozen. Now today, eggs are almost $10 a dozen, right? At the end of the day, we now have to ensure that people are going home with more money, that they understand. And so we also teach finances. 14 years ago, I filed bankruptcy at 35 or 34 and a half. Today, I teach Financial Peace University because I went through the hardship of understanding. So no one sat down and told me about finances.
That's right. That's another thing we don't get taught as kids.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I spent more than I made.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's a logical sort of mismatch there, right?
Absolutely.
But it's not something that we're taught unless somebody teaches us.
That's it. And I have youngsters, 17, 18, 19 years coming out of high school. They don't have a clue about their finances. I have 50-year-olds. I have 70-year-olds. They have no clue when they're going to retire, right? And just to help them just sort out a budget, right?
So your students are a range, the whole demographic, not just young people.
No, I range from 16 plus. Right now my youngest is 14. We're teaching him how to be a heavy equipment operator.
Amazing.
Right? We have a state-of-the-art, I think it's the only one in the Caribbean, state-of-the-art heavy equipment simulator that have 24 different machines, right? And we're teaching a 14-year-old how to be a heavy equipment operator, right? And my oldest is about 7 to 4.
Amazing.
Right? And people want information. My job is to provide information, provide experiences that I've gone through, and hopefully help people right some wrongs. Right? But young people, we give them a whole range of things. We don't just say, okay, well, you just want to be a carpenter, so therefore No, I want to help you be a better person. So therefore, I need you to open your mind to these things over here while you're being a carpenter. Because if I can get you to understand why you're being a carpenter and where you want to work, you're going to be the most awesome carpenter, right?
It's a bit like teaching a man to fish as opposed to buying him a fish, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
And taking all of the crap off the table, the barriers. Yes, I believe in that as well. But if the man can't make it to training, as much as he want to fish, he ain't gonna get there. So I need to help him get to me, right? I need to help him look the part, right? So I'm helping people. Oh, okay, you need shoes? Let's get that going. You need clothes? I call my friend who runs a thrift store. Let's get it going. We're taking crap off the table. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear
excuses.
Why you can't. Tell me how we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Tell me how you can.
Precisely.
Right.
The moment you say you can't, your brain shuts down. One of my coaches used to tell me that all the time. I used to always say, "But coach, I can't do it." He said, "Every time you say you can't, your brain shuts down and you stop thinking." And he was right.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I learned the same thing from my running coach.
Absolutely. Now, I was telling a good friend of mine, who's a colleague of mine, he's an accountant, and he's coming from a system where he's always hearing, well, we can't do that. I said, I need you to change your vocabulary with me. I need you to look at our accounts, and I need you to tell me how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, if I need to go out and get some more money, but we need to start with how we're going to do it, as opposed to we just can't do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Help me understand how our finances can help us reach to the plateau.
Yeah.
But do not tell me that I can't do it, because I've been running this by myself for a very long time and I've been doing it. So I'm not adding you to the team, and then you're telling me that I can't do it when I know that I can, right?
Just find a way. So there's a problem, there are ways of solving these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Young people are always seeing impossibility. And as a young person, when I was growing up, that's what I saw. But I also
It's that
saw
fear mentality, though, isn't it? It tends to lead us to catastrophize. Something bad happens. The natural human instinct is, oh no, be scared, run away.
That's it.
And that's where the
exactly
problem
it.
solving stops.
That's it. And that's what I'm finding, not just with 16 and 18 and 20-year-olds. I'm finding with 50-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right? They've had 5 jobs in 3 years, and they're shocked that no one will hire them. So when I'm sitting down and I'm saying, your resume is a huge lot of red flags, they don't see it. But sir, but I have a lot of experience. No, you don't. You actually have no loyalty.
Yeah, no consistency.
Well, who's going to hire you? You've been in the job 6 months and then you left. And then you curse out the employer. Or you'll go into an interview and you'll talk bad about your previous employer.
Yeah.
Well, who that employer is thinking, well, shit, they're going to probably do that to me too.
Yeah. Well, again,
right?
these are life skills, right?
It is. And it has to be taught. And this is the stuff that our parents, our government, our schools do not understand. They're simply just thinking that the grades alone is going to get these folks, through the door. It's not. It's a competitive market now. And people don't even have to be in this country in order to compete. Yeah. We are now.
We're in a globalized world.
Absolutely, man. It's a click of the mouse. I say to folks all the time, I don't even need a computer. My cell phone is my computer. It is my biggest weapon that I have. Every file that I have access to this. All my bank accounts, I have access to it. I don't need a computer. While I was working, while I was in the airport, I never used a computer. I wrote an entire book on my cell phone.
Wow.
On vacation.
There you go.
Right? I say to folks all the time.
Do you ever stop?
Absolutely. I was on the beach, hanging out with my wife, and I'm like, something? I'm going to write this book. And I wrote an entire book, an entire workbook that we are going to produce in the next couple of weeks for a group of folks that's coming in. Great. Because I believe that we have to start doing more. We have to come in with the idea that we can regenerate something new on a regular basis. I'm always thinking about, okay, how do I make that better? I like it. Is it the best?
Yeah.
It's not the best. Yeah. I can add some more to that. How do I add more value to people's lives? I'm always thinking that. Yeah. But I had to be taught that. I can tell you, I didn't wake up one morning and all of a sudden I want to add all this value. I read loads of books. I had loads of different mentors who always said, think outside the box, Michael. Stop feeling that you need to be everyone else. This is not a popularity contest. Start thinking beyond. Start looking beyond. What can you see? And the moment that I start doing that, I stop listening to the noise. And this is what I say to a lot of young people. Stop listening to the noise.
I feel like you're talking about being of service.
It is. It is 99% of what I do, Shuvra, is I serve.
And this is what you're teaching your students.
Is exactly what I teach. You get a scholarship from someone, you need to write a thank you letter. You need to be grateful. You need to show gratitude. You need to be happy that you're alive. Every day, every morning I wake up, I look up. My God, thank you.
Thank you for giving me another day.
I appreciate this, man. Another day. I say to my team all the time, I bounce into work every day. I don't look forward to Mondays. I hate looking forward to Fridays. Mondays are an opportunity for me to start over, but I love it all the way through. My wife always accuses me, well, you always talk about work, because it's not work for me. It's a mission now, right? It's a mission now. It becomes beyond passion for me. It's now a mission. How do I create that spark in everyone that I touch?
Yeah.
I never thought that way. Now I do,
Yeah.
because I've seen the impact that a lot of phenomenal people have had on folks' lives. I want to have that same impact, right? So it for me cuts beyond the dollar sign, because if I can change a life, then that's a domino effect.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I like creating those domino effects. I have folks coming back to me. I was speaking to one of my alumni yesterday, and she was teaching me, an app, that's been phenomenal for her. And I'm looking at this girl and I'm saying, wow, I met her a year and a half ago, and she had no clue where she went. Now she's an HR manager. Now she's a HR associate.
Wow.
She never thought she would get out.
And all the people she's helping by doing that.
Precisely. And she never, when she told me, was, I don't have any skills. Like, dude, you have loads of skills. You've worked in one of the biggest markets in the world, the tourism market. You know to talk to people. You know to lead.
Especially here in Cayman. I mean, it's one of the biggest tourism markets.
I'm like, these are all transferable skills.
Right.
You are this girl is bubbly. She's phenomenal. But she never saw it.
Right.
I said, I see something different than what you were seeing. So I just held the mirror up. I said, for the next 12 weeks, I'm going to hold the mirror up. And that third or fourth week, she said, I see it now. I see what you're talking about. Because I just kept on holding the mirror up. Here's what you are. Look at what you are. You're phenomenal. Use this. Do not let a piece of paper or someone's opinion create this image that you're not. That's not who you are. People have told her, you never go beyond the tourism market. You can.
Yeah. Going back to something you touched on earlier, so I want to talk about access. So how do people who have low incomes or no incomes come to you and access what you're offering? And equally, how are you funded? You mentioned government. Is that your only funding?
90% of our funds come from the private sector. Okay. We do get some government funds. We're now trying to broker with government where Inspire, the Caymanians that come through Inspire. I'm a certified center. I'm a licensed center through the government. Yeah. All vocational centers like mine now have to be licensed. So I was licensed 4.5 years ago. And the battle has always been, how do we fund TVET scholarships? My last conversation with the Ministry of Education was they're trying to work out something where it's just like a scholarship. Person comes to me, they don't have the funds. I help them fill out a scholarship application. We submit the documentation with an acceptance letter from us. That hasn't worked for us in the last 4.5 years. We have gotten small grants from the government, but there's nothing consistently which prevents me from planning long term. So I've had to tap into private sector funding. I write grant proposals. I do Rotary meetings. Kiwanis means I talk to everybody and their grandfather in this country. I get $1 here and there, and I make it work. And that's how we've gotten. What we've also gotten is that we've built up such a great reputation that we now have private sector calling on us to train their staff. And that's what have kept us afloat. So my hope is that once the budget is passed, we can now get to a point where I don't really need to beg the government. A person walks in, I simply just help them fill out their scholarship application form. They turn it in, and they can get a scholarship, and I can provide the training. The majority of the people now are on funds from the private sector, or I give it free, right? And that has continued to be hard. I have I now have 4 staff. When I first started, it was just 1. We now have 4 of us, and they're all full-time staff. So I have more overhead. We have a state-of-the-art facility. We're purchasing more resources. We have at least 4,000 courses on 3 different learning management systems.
Wow. So there's a lot of demand that you need to keep
There's
up
a
with.
lot of demand. I mean, people are coming in and saying, hey, I want this. And, we either recreate that or find someone. I mean, I have a Microsoft trainer that's in Barbados who's training, through Zoom or another platform. Because if I can't find it in Cayman, then I'm going to find it somewhere else because our people need that. Right? So we are doing everything we possibly can in order to ensure that people are upskilled, reskilled, have access to it. But we also demand that people have some skin in the game. I don't give full scholarships. It's rare that we give full scholarships because people have to have some skin in the game.
Makes it seem too easy.
Absolutely. And I've been burnt way too many times where, everyone comes in and they have the best intentions, so I really want this, and then, 3 weeks, 4 weeks into it, I have this life issue going on, so I no longer want that, and then the sponsor is burnt. So, now it's you need to have some skin in the game. So I sign them up. They have to get a surety. They have to sign a scholarship contract, and they have to put some money in this, right?
Yeah.
They don't finish the program, they don't get a reference from us.
Yeah.
I have at least 30 employers that consistently contact us for people today. So getting a job isn't the problem. And I'm not a recruiter. So I don't focus on getting people jobs. I focus on ensuring that this transformation with them happen.
Yeah. So funding is key. If somebody listening
Major.
to this wants to get in touch and become a sponsor, for example, how would they get in touch with you?
Please call me, 939-1301. I will meet you at midnight if that comes down to it. So it doesn't matter when you want to meet.
I believe you.
Tell me when you want to meet. If you want it, whatever in writing, come. I've even gone a little bit further with sponsors. I have said, come and see it.
Yeah.
Right?
Course.
I don't
See
just
it in
want your
action.
money. Come and see it. Come and see it for yourself. Come and sit in a classroom. Come and feel the buzz of what's going on. Come and watch people train. Come and watch how we interact, right? It is real for us. There's no script for me. I am off script on a consistent basis because I teach from life. I have way too much life lessons that I want to pass on. Right?
So if somebody wanted to become a mentor, for example, is that something that you're open to?
Yes, we want mentors. I welcome mentors because, a matter of fact, one of the things that I started changing with our placements is that the one thing that I always ask organizations to do within the first, at least for 3 months, put that person with an individual who's experienced, who's encouraging, who's at least empathetic, because what we've now seen is not only are they getting that job, they go beyond that probationary period. They're now keeping those jobs because they have a mentor in that organization that looks out for them. I mean, we're talking sometimes about very impressionable young people, right? Very vulnerable young people who are coming in with a number of different levels of trauma. And we are never going to eradicate all of that. We've also added therapeutic services to our program as well. 8 months ago, we saw it. And I saw it from the time I started Inspire in 2019. The folks that are coming through the door, loads of different traumas. It's not just barriers, but they're coming in with loads of different things from sexual abuse to, being battered, to living on the street, homelessness, hungry, you name it. I mean, one of my last clients, or trainees that I helped, he was living in his car for the last year.
Gosh.
Right? On the beach. Right? So we have to make sure that we have a greater understanding of what's going on. People just think that I just do training. If it was that, everybody would be doing training.
If it was that simple.
Exactly. It's not just that simple. I don't just get someone in, train them, and then place them in someone's organization. We have to help them resolve some of those issues or they're not going to last.
Yeah, it has to be an holistic process. Otherwise, it's just going to be putting a plaster over something that goes much deeper.
Getting a therapist in was one of the best investments I've ever made.
Yeah.
And she does group work with us. She does a lot of wellness and a lot of life skills coaching. We don't even call it therapy at this point in time because too many people are just running from therapy. But what I see her now do is miraculous. We're now having people look at their life goals, not just money goals or just career goals or job goals. Let's look at your life goals. What exactly do you want out of your life? And how do we put that on paper where we start to set some manageable and actually reachable goals for you? Okay, so you're living in this part of the island. Do you want to ever move out of there? Do you want to get out of your parents' house? Do you want property? Do you want to live here or there? Do you want to leave the island? Do you want kids? Right? What sort of relationship are you looking for? All of these things we are now addressing through life skills training, right? And that requires a special skill set, and I've hired that. And she's been phenomenal in coming to us. That's another barrier, right? So she comes to us rather than me saying, okay, Shuvra, I need you to go, 10 miles down the road. Here's some bus fare. You're never going to get there. Right? Never going to get there. So we've subcontracted that service, and it's been brilliant to see it working. She'll sit in the classroom. She works with our team, so we're able to pass on information. She's able to share information and how we sort of work with these individuals as well. We needed that. So having that has been phenomenal for our team to actually learn some of those skills as well. So all around, we are building out as much as we possibly can. I want to surround people with as much love, with as much energy, with as much care, with as much enthusiasm. I don't want people who are going to come in and just, oh my God, I don't want to be here.
because I have to be.
It's that Eeyore concept. That's what Eeyore disorder. Right? It's about it's about putting some energy behind yourself now because there's only so much I can do now. Now we're doing a lot, but you still have to do some work. Show up.
Yeah.
Have some
show
courage.
Up for yourself.
Absolutely, man. Have some courage and show up. Listen, the hardest thing right now for a lot of folks is showing up. And if you can do that part, I can help you manage the rest of it.
So there may be some people listening right now, they're loving what you're saying. They want to show up, but they don't quite know how. They don't quite have the confidence to do it. What would you say to them?
Call me, email me, info@inspirecaymantraining.com. I'll schedule some time with you. If that don't help, we're normally open Monday through Friday from about 9 until about 5:30. Walk in the door. Most people are just walking in the door. Sir, I need help.
Where exactly are you located?
We are by Grand Harbor. We are at the very back of Grand Harbor, right in between Salty's restaurant and the yoga gym.
Yeah.
Salty's restaurant and the yoga gym.
Yeah. And so, sort of with that theme, there may be also people listening, perhaps younger people who are just starting out and they're not quite sure what career they want, what vocation they want, what they want to do with their lives. What would you say to them? Now, I know you have the tool, you have Career Fitter.
Career Fitter is a phenomenal tool. They don't really need to come to me to get that, but they can certainly go on and take the test themselves. But Career Fitter, that's another tool that we've implemented about 2.5 years ago that has completely changed the way that we work.
And this is an online tool?
This is an online tool. It is more of a personality test, but what it also gives is more career advice. It gives you, it's about 60 questions, all objective to you. You answer it based on how you see yourself, and it puts together a 15-page report. Amazing. For you. We print that report, and that's how we do career coaching now. I don't just meet them and all of a sudden, you want to be an accountant, but you don't like math, so I'm not sure how we're going to get around this.
Sure this.
Okay, when you come talk to me, I want to see your Career Fitter. Like, what does it say? But Career Fitter goes further. It also tells you what culture you're going to survive in, or thrive in. That's what I like about Career Fitter. It gives you your weaknesses, your strengths.
Yeah. So whether somebody's perhaps a planner as opposed to a creator, somebody who prefers to get tasks done as opposed to, say, having meetings with people, which is quite similar to the DISC method, the DISC test.
Very much like the DISC program or the DISC assessment as well, because I took the DISC as well when I was in college. But yes, it also gives you a number of different career options. I mean, it gives you at least 20. And then it also tells you what sort of schooling you need to do and what are the salary ranges for those as well. I mean, it's a phenomenal tool.
And I'm sure it's really sophisticated, because I remember doing something similar online more than 20 years ago when computers sort of first became distributed to schools and the households were starting to have them. And each time I took a career, tick box sort of test on this program, it came back quite accurate. It kept telling me I needed to be a lawyer, I needed to be a barrister. And it just sort of happened. So it's probably what you have now is even more sophisticated.
I'm telling you, it is. If you go on the Career Fitter site, it is best practice.
Yeah.
Right. It is a proven tool, and I'm telling you, I've had people take that over the last 2 years, and it's spot on.
Yeah. And where is it available?
Take it. We provide it. But if not, you can go on, I think it's careerfitter.org or .com. They can take it directly from there. I think, they need to pay for it as well there.
Yeah.
But what I do with the tool is that I use it throughout the 12 weeks that you're with us.
Okay.
We don't just print it off and give it to you. I want to, all of our individualized sessions. So once they're in our group sessions, we then do individual coaching sessions.
Based on the outcome of the Career Fitter test.
Based on the outcome of that Career Fitter. And that's where I start to help you understand what sort of employment you need to start to migrate towards.
So there's a real method behind what you do. You bring the energy, you bring the intention, you bring the love, but you also bring a very, very practical, this is what you're good at, this is what you'll like, and this is how we're going to get you there.
Precisely, because if we can get them something, 9 out of 10 people that get in an industry that they love doing, they don't quit. They love going to work.
Yeah.
Right? I have folks coming in, sir, I want to work for that company. Why? Well, because they pay well. You're not going to stay.
No. That charm will wear off after a while.
Correct. I mean, because the demands get more, right? And then you don't want to kind of conform to those demands, or you don't like somebody there, or they treat you like crap, right? It's a million and one different array of excuses of what I've heard. So I've said, okay, I want you to look at 5 companies and do the research. Who do you know? Cayman's a small place. Who do you know that work there?
Yeah.
And how are they doing there?
Yeah, and talk to them.
Correct. Let's look at culture. Let's stop looking at the dollar figure. Let's look at culture, because you're going to get paid one way or another. Somewhere down the line, you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
But let's look at the culture now there. Can you grow there? Do they offer training? Ask the person. I had a young man that walked in yesterday. He wants to be in cybersecurity. I could have sold him a program. We have cybersecurity online training programs. I could have sold him the program. So I said to him, okay, who in Cayman is actually offering that as a career? I don't know. Then why are you taking this?
Yeah.
Right?
Not
if you're going to remain
research.
here, then why are you taking this particular program? Right? Let's now do the research. And then when you do the research, come back and I will help you access the program. I will also help you understand what you're doing. But now I need you to understand, when you take this program, where are you going to go with it? Who do you know that's actually in cybersecurity? He told me there was a few, family members. Okay, have you talked to them? No, sir. I need you to go talk to them. I need you to find out if it's a side hustle for them or if it's something that they're doing as an actual full-time job. Yeah. Do they love it? Which companies are they working for? How much is the ceiling in terms of salary? Is there additional training? All of these are unanswered questions, as opposed to coming in and thinking that one particular program is going to just make you $100,000 a year.
This is where work experience is so important. So
Yeah.
I'm increasingly hearing from people on the ground that not enough people are going in to do work experience, even if it's just for 2 days.
Correct.
It doesn't have to be a whole week.
Yep.
And do you think that's because the thirst for doing work experience has somehow died, or is there just not enough opportunities available? Are companies not offering the work experience
People are
opportunities
offering
that
work
young people
experience
need?
all the time. A matter of fact, Shuvra, one of the things that we are doing now is that before a person gets a full-time job, we would prefer they go in either on an internship or an apprenticeship. We have saw that they're staying longer. One, you get to interview the company. The company also get to see what value that you're adding, and there's no loss. So if you feel, hey, you know something, maybe this environment isn't for me, you have not signed yourself up for anything.
It's
no
no loss at all. No,
Absolutely.
I mean, whenever I've done work experience, and I did tons, going back a couple of decades, it was always fun. Got to meet new people, do new things,
Precisely.
discover new skills, and
We have found that that is what it is. The thing is, we don't encourage it because everybody feel that they should get paid. And young people are always coming in and asking, well, but I don't want to work for free. But you're not. This is actually a learning experience for you.
This will
Right?
set
You're
you
not
up for
working
life.
for free. Exactly. You're not working for free. A matter of fact, you're not actually offering this company anything. They are actually
helping
helping
them,
you.
yeah.
Right? So go in, see what it is. But, but sorry, we want a job. It will come. The majority of the people that have done work experience and have done a great job on those work experience are the ones that company is hiring. Why? They've already invested. Why would I get rid of Johnny after he's been here 3 months?
Right.
Right?
That's how people get invited back.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But again, that part is taught. We don't teach that at school. Right?
Well, that was actually taught to me, so maybe that's something that's fallen away now.
It's what we're doing is placing a lot of kids in a lot of different industries and hoping something stick, rather than really interviewing them and having a clearer understanding of really what they want to do. Right? SciFec does a great job in placing 200 kids a year. But I spoke to a lot of employers who are not happy with how the students are coming in because the kids aren't prepared to come in to do that. They think that, oh, well, I'm doing something for these people for free. You're not doing this for free, right? You have an opportunity to network.
Yeah.
We don't sell it that way. We just say, well, you need to do a year of work experience. So therefore, go to A.L. Thompson, not understanding that A.L. Thompson have at least 20 different departments there, and I can actually get some stuff from A.L. Thompson. And
It's a huge business.
by the time I graduate, I can now go back and apply and get a full-time job. We are not teaching stuff.
And
like
learn
that.
skills from the managers in there. I mean, the floor managers alone, they have so much to offer.
Precisely. I just break it down a little bit different. I want people to see a different picture. That's why I model my organization after something better. I want something better for Caymanians that walk in our doors, or foreigners in general. I mean, I don't just cater to Caymanians. I have quite a bit of foreigners who come in and say, hey, can you help me with X, Y, and Z? And we do that.
So you cater to non-Caymanians too?
We cater to everyone. The majority of our clients are non-paying Caymanians, and that's why it's critical for us to get the funding that we need to ensure that those people don't have those barriers. Because again, while I am very philanthropic, the bills still need to get paid.
Yeah, the lights need to
right?
stay
I
on.
still need to pay people to come in and do the work, right? So I am consistently saying to parents, I am very given because a lot of folks have given to me. But if there's no inspire, your kid isn't going to be here anyways. So you have to contribute to this. Have to have some skin in the game. And when people have some skin in the game, they actually perform a little bit better.
Oh yeah, if the parents have put some money in, they'll be dragging their kid out of bed to make sure that the kid
There's more
gets done.
accountability, right? And that's what I'm pushing out there, right? It's one energy. I want folks to have a clearer understanding that there's more to life than making money. Yeah, I want to make money just like everyone else, but it has come.
Yeah.
You
Might
know?
as well enjoy the ride along the way. We're not here for that long.
The ride has been fun. Yes, it's been hard. I can tell you there's been a lot of sleepless nights of, wow, how am I going to pay the rent? That God has provided, and God is good, and
God
that's
helps
been
those
great
who
for
help
me.
themselves.
And that's where I am at. That's where I'm at, Shuvra. It's about ensuring that we are putting ourselves in miracle territory. I call it regularly. Right? If you put yourself in miracles will happen, and that's where I put myself. I can tell you there were some times where I never thought that the bills were going to get paid, and I get an email saying, "Hey, we have $1,000.
We owe you this money, and here it is."
Man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been there.
Here's this, or like you, I heard you on the radio. Why don't you come and talk to me? Right? I'm putting myself just by being here in miracle territory. I don't know who's going to call me next to say, "Hey, here's $100,000. Go help those people." Right?
I hope that happens, brother.
That's. I'm telling you. For me, it's a blessing. And every day, that's how I'm looking at it. Every day, the miracles are pouring in the door. That youngster that came yesterday, miracle that he come in. He said, "Sir, no one have ever talked to me like that. Thank you. I'm going to go and do what you've asked me to do."
Yeah. And in that moment, you probably changed his life.
Absolutely.
Just
because
in that one
he knows
moment.
that I love him. And I was talking to another one of my kids today, 17 years old, just got out of high school. And he didn't come to the program on Monday. And I had to say to him, Dude, unless you're in the hospital, you're walking in here. I don't want to hear this anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the hospital, unless you are
Yeah.
doubling over in pain,
Yeah.
right? Don't send me some
Unless you
text
can't
message.
breathe or you're losing blood.
Correct.
Why aren't you here?
Absolutely, man, because that's
Yeah.
what people are paying for today, right? You want a job? You know, you're telling me that you want to do this. I'm helping you do that. But if you don't do your part, I can't help you,
Yeah.
right? I can't. And you know, I told him today, I'll give you my shirt. That's how fanatic I am about your success. But I need you to walk in the door every single day, right? And there are times where you're not going to feel the passion and the enthusiasm. I still need you to walk in the door, right?
What
Because
do you say to
that's
people
what
who
it
feel
is.
that way? Because I mean, we've all had those days. With your passion, your energy, you have also no doubt had those days where you're just not feeling it or you're just feeling a bit down. What do? How do you get yourself back up and energized
I
again?
walk in the door and a spark happens. I look for inspiration in just about everything. My daughter smiling or telling me she loves me. My oldest is 27, called me to say, Dad, here's what's going on in my life. That's the inspiration that I look for. We are only looking for inspiration in terms of the money that we make, the cars that we drive, the houses that we buy.
That's
I
the
don't look for
outwards, though. That's the
not going to
outside.
That's not going to inspire me anymore, right?
Inspiration comes from in here. It
Correct.
comes from inside.
I'm good with who I am. I can look at the guy in the mirror and I love him now, right? It's time to pour back into me, right? That's why I don't worry about the money anymore because it always have come. It's been there. I am holding myself accountable to ensure that I'm living at a standard that I can say to folks, I've been there and done that. I know what it's like to go broke. I know what it's like to make dumb decisions. So I can tell you what I've done. I can prove to you that this doesn't work anymore. I know what it's like to be down on my luck because I've made poor decisions. I've destroyed a relationship and other relationships. So I know what it's like to not be a good partner. I know what it's like to be a lousy dad because I didn't put enough effort or energy in it. Dude, I have all of those stories and I tell all of those stories. So I don't hide. One of the things that people have appreciated when they come to training, I use my own personal life.
Your authenticity.
Absolutely. I'm not here to hide behind anything. I'm not here to say, well, you know, I'm so self-righteous that I don't know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to make dumb decisions. I know what it's like to destroy relationships. I know what it's like to make foolish decisions. I was like, yes, I was once young, right? And I'm a man. Right, so I know that within itself we make a lot of foolish mistakes, right? And I'm sure can attest, right? That's just our culture as men, right? But there has to become a time where you look in the mirror and say, "Is this the road that I want to go on?" Right? Yes, you're not gonna I don't feel it every single day, but I can tell you I'm kicking my behind that I feel it every day because I'm looking for small little things now. I'm looking for the major thing, you know. I'm looking for the small little things. I'm looking for when I'm driving on the road and someone stops to let another car in.
That always makes me happy as well.
Oh my God, man. Because everybody's in a rush. Every single day they'll run over you just to get to their
just
destination.
to get to their destination a second earlier.
And that puts a smile on my face. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That person stopped when everyone else went on.
Yeah.
Right? That's the stuff that I'm looking for. Right? Or I see
just small inspiration, as you say. So I had this moment yesterday. I was driving home and there was a lizard running across the road and I wasn't going fast, but I wouldn't have been able to stop. I would have caught it anyway. And I tried to stop, couldn't stop. And I just closed my eyes almost and just thought, oh no, oh no, oh no. Because where it was, it should have gone under my wheel on the basis of physics. I looked through my rearview mirror, the little lizard's happily running along. Absolutely. And I'm just like, wow. And I just yelped with joy in the car and threw my hands up, success. That was yesterday's miracle.
Absolutely.
That shouldn't have happened. The laws of physics define that from happening.
How you put yourself in miracle territory. And
you just see the small miracles.
That's it. And when you create those, you get them back. And that's what I'm trying to help young people understand. Stop looking at just the money part of it. You're going to get there, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to get paid one way or another. It's just how you want to do that, right? So I take some of the desperation away. I take that off the table. Let's focus on fixing you, on repairing you. I always say there's no white knight.
No one's going to come and save you.
We've
got to save ourselves.
Absolutely. That's the part that I am meticulous at driving home. Yes, Shuvra, we have 4,000 courses. We have everything. Right? I do not like just signing people up over the phone. I want to meet them. I meet everybody. I meet everybody that walks through the door. If one of my team members are meet with them and I am not at the center, I bring them back from in because I want to understand who they are, where they want to go, how we can help them. Right? That's what I want. I want to hear their stories. I want them to hear what our story is. I'm bringing back our alumni and I'm saying, I need you now to come back and inspire
Yes.
the other folks that's
Yeah.
walking in the door, because they're going to need you eventually.
Inspire the people who follow you, yeah.
We're all connected in some form and shape. And I'm now realizing that at my very tender age of 49, right? So I want folks to have a clearance on what Inspire is.
Yeah.
We're not just doing training. We're doing service now.
Yes.
We have pivoted to that. Training is a byproduct of what?
Yeah.
Of how we function.
Yeah.
We want to surround people with something different. I am not UCCI. I am not ICCI. You don't need to, come in expecting that we are going to be that, right? They have their own strengths, their own weaknesses. We have ours.
Yeah.
Our job right now is to focus on the whole person,
Yeah.
right? And if you can come in and get that spark, even if you don't finish the program, but if you can come in and you feel that spark
get
in
that
your chest,
spark and
that
then go on
works
and
for
do
you,
something else.
more power to you.
Yeah.
Right? We hope that you want to finish the program, but if that's not in your repertoire, then so it is.
Yeah.
But we're not changing anything for anyone who feels that we should just be full academic, because that's not what's helping people today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's helping people today is that people need to be picked up. They need to be uplifted. They need to be inspired. Right?
They need to have self-belief, self-confidence.
Absolutely, man. We use prayer. I use just about everything I can latch onto in order to inspire someone to continue to move their life, because when I see them when they walk through the door, they're at their lowest.
Yeah.
And I need them to be able to fight a little bit harder. And because I say to my team all the time, I am not going to take them out of their environment. I need them to thrive within it.
Yes.
Right?
And that's such a beautiful skill to teach.
Yeah.
If you can't change your environment, you change your perception of it.
That's it. My mother did. I saw her do it. She didn't want she didn't want that environment for us long term. She worked 3 jobs to make sure that environment stopped existing for us and put us in a healthier environment. She knew that as long as we were in that environment, we would not do well. So she took us out of that environment, and that was tough, because I can tell you, as a kid, I moved around this island quite a bit, right? But she knew that there was a stop, and she self-taught a number of different skills to herself. Ended up in the tourism industry for almost 40 years.
Amazing.
But I saw her work. I would see her walk into a condo. Her company managed condos, and she was a manager in it. She would walk into a condo, and I would just see her scan the room, and I never really understood what she was doing. She'd walk into the condo after it was clean, and she was like, and re-clean the entire condo. Okay, Michael, I need you to sit down there. Just give Mama a couple of minutes, and it'll only take 2 hours. But clean the entire condo.
Yeah.
Because when those guests walk in there, oh my gosh, she created an atmosphere. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I tell her all the time, I watched this woman take a couple who luggage was lost, flight delayed, tired getting in, and by the time they got to her as the condo manager, they're frustrated, they want to take out all of their pain, and they don't want to come to Cayman anymore. And she took those people and turned those around and created an experience for those. I want to create that every single day. I tell her all the time, I said,
beautiful.
I don't know how you did that. Her demeanor, she never shifted. She never argued. Her face never changed. She said, and let me change your experience now. You're now home. Let me change that's all she would say to him. Let me change your experience. She would open up that condo, and that breeze flew in.
Yeah.
Their grocers would be by. She would pop by every day and checking them. She would get little free passes from in there.
Yeah.
She
It's those
completely-
details. It's
By
those
the
small
time they
details.
left, they were coming back to Cayman and calling Grace Myles on a regular basis. I want that. That's the skill that I want to continue to harness.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do all day, every single day.
Yeah.
And if I can teach people to do that,
Yeah.
I've done my job.
Done your job. So for people listening who want to do that, you've sparked their enthusiasm now just by hearing you. Tell us again how they get in touch with you, how they find you.
They can contact me directly, 939-1301. They can send us an email, info@inspirecaymantraining.com, or they can walk in the door. We are located at Grand Harbor. We're right in between Salties and the yoga gym at the very back of Grand Harbor. But give us a call. If they want to speak to me specifically, I try to be there, every single day, but sometimes I'm out with appointments. But if they want to chat with me, just give me a call, 939-1301.
Michael Myles from Inspire Cayman, thank you so much for joining me. You've
Always a
certainly
pleasure.
inspired me. I'm feeling so buzzed
pleasure.
and energized just seeing your passion, hearing you speak so enthusiastically about what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me.
And thank you for joining me. You can find me here every Thursday at 2 p.m. on Bobo FM 89.1. I also have a podcast, Shuvra Deb With You, and that's available on Spotify, Apple, Google, and other platforms on demand and for free. And if you would like to get in touch with me with your comments, your questions, or if you would like to appear as a guest on my show, please do email me at shuvradeb82@gmail.com. That's SHUVRADEB82@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Bye for now. Thank you all so much for tuning in and for listening to Shuvra Deb with you. And please do tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. on Bobo FM 89.1 for more topics related to and relevant to mental health. If any of you would like to reach out to me directly about any of the issues I've discussed, please do email me at shuvradeb82@gmail.com. That's spelt SHUVRADEB, the numbers 82 @gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening.